What's up, YouTube? It's your boy B Ryan here from Team NBSB Gaming. We are coming at you today with a deck profile from our good friend Sid. He just went 5-0 at San Ysidro Games. Shout out to San Ysidro Games in San Diego, probably the best local here in the state, if it was my opinion. But yeah, he went 5-0. Very great duels he had. He put hell of a player. And yeah, I'll let you guys see the deck profile. Peace.
Alright, so this is Runick Naturia. We're playing 40 flat. If you're not playing 40, you're not playing right. That's my saying. So we have one of the normal summons. I'm not going to say one or the other is the best, but we have Naturia Camellia. It's your Foolish. It summons on their turn. It's really good. This is your advantage engine. You go through all three in 3 turns. This is your Naturia Mole Cricket. This is your board breaker, kind of. Can summon up to 2 from the deck. So, you know, sometimes it helps you get into faster extra deck access. It's really good for the grind game as well. You got the Brick, but it's like one of the best cards in the deck. So this is one of your negates. Comes out of nowhere. People kind of don't realize it's on the board until, you know, it's too late. This card wins a lot of games just by making them have an early battle phase, and you get another turn. We have our, this is another Brick, kind of, but it helps you play through certain scenarios. This is Blessing. It's like it's a monster reborn. You can also quick play at synchro speed. I've synchroed a lot on their turn with this. You can make a lot of crazy things.
Do people mainly play 3 or 2 of this?
So I've seen a lot of builds run 3. I've seen a lot of builds run 2. I think that 2 is probably optimal because you have enough like cards that help you cycle through, and like I feel like the engine, you don't need all 3 by the time that the engine's either out or you're getting to the point where you're recycling cards.
Yeah.
We have the not bricks, despite being trap cards. These are free discards off of your Yugioh. This helps you search no matter how many times it hits the grave. It can activate as many times per turn as you want. So this is also a part of the advantage engine. Your Camellia can dump this, and then you get to search for the Blessing, and you get to set up a Camellia for next turn. This thing is crazy. Not once per turn.
Is that all for the Naturia package?
That is all for the Naturia package. So, well, technically, I mean, these are honorary Naturia cards. These are recently limited. You kind of need these for the grind because you go through the engine so fast. Like I said, you go through 3 in 3 turns. Very often, there's like times where you just need to shuffle everything out of your grave back through the Naturia engine. I actually summoned this twice today. It was kind of cool, but you know, we don't play the Kelbeck because it's just like, this is 40 flat, and the way the ratios are built, you can't really change anything else. The Kelbeck barely comes up. It's good, but it's like, I'd rather just play all the power cards. And it is a power card, but it's not on the same caliber in my opinion.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about the Kelbeck.
So, onto the Runick stuff. We run 2 Fountain. It's technically a Brick. Sometimes you want to draw it. It helps you play through Ash if you do. This is, you know, your other advantage engine. You get to target up to the same number of, or you can target up to 3 Runicks in grave, draw the same number, and shuffle them. So you have like infinite recursion, and also you're playing for the mill out. Sometimes it feels like, you know, you're playing like the greediest deck in the world, but you're just playing like the deck as it's supposed to be. This card is like the best. So now on to Runicks. We have the only +1 for that side of the engine. Then we have all the searchables. We have Flashing Fire, which is our pop monsters. We have Freezing Curses, which is our Forbidden Chalice. We have Destruction, which is our MST. And we have Slumber, which is a pseudo battle fader. This one is like really good because sometimes you have the Sunflower in defense. They have to activate a monster effect, but they can't because the Sunflower locks it down. And then you do this on it, and they just have to eat through 2 more negates. It's really unfair. Yeah. That's it for the Runick cards. Now on to the last 9. This is the reason why we don't play any other cards. So I'm maining 3 Kaijus. And the reason why we're maining Kaijus is during some testing, a lot of the times cash players ended on a Rise Heart pass. I was noticing that you could normally get 2-for-1s just by slamming a Kaiju on their field, turning off Blackout, Mirror Jade, a Rise Heart. All of those are problem cards, and if you just slam this on it, you kind of get into a better scenario than where you were before.
How'd they perform today?
These were phenomenal. especially when you draw 3 after, and like the Arise Heart is like sitting there, and you're like, oh, that's a problem. Or the Shang, like I got locked out for 5 back row. I threw this on one of them, and he was like, oh, and I was like, yep, that's it. So I think if Cash wasn't in the meta, I'd probably be playing something else. But it's just that deck is just too unfair for us to play against. So we're also playing Book of Eclipses. This card is just too good. I mean, there are times where like this deck consistently sets up Baron off of a normal summon and 2 spells, which is, it sounds kind of crazy, but it isn't. And you use the Baron negate, and then you Book of Eclipse, and then you flip the Baron back up, and you get the negate again. It's the best.
Yeah, I definitely know that.
You just feel like the man when you do that.
Especially when you do it 3 times.
Mm-hmm. And then, and then the other thing is since you're playing a mill out deck, I've had it where my opponent's playing Cash and they don't want to commit extra deck, and you slam this, and you set 4 monsters, they draw 4 cards, and they look at their deck. It doesn't matter that they drew 5 because they only have 5 cards left in deck. So that came up really heavy today. It's unfortunate it loses to Ash, but. And our final card, Remain Decking Evenly Matched.
Best card of format.
Yeah. My boys were hounding me to play this, and I yeah, I don't know. It's just too good. Everybody and their mom is maining it. That's why I chose to play this deck. Yeah. You end on Baron and the field spell, and like maybe the quick play. If they have 1 evenly, you Baron it. If they have 2, then you just lose the already used Baron. So, you just have to be prepared for this card right now. So, anywho, onto the extra deck.
40 in the main, and we'll go into the extra deck.
Alright, so for Runick cards, we're running 2 of the Hugin and 1 of the Jerry. What's really cool about this card is that not only is it access to your engine, it's not only protection, but it's also a synchro material. So I'm a very heavy synchro player. A lot of lists run some links, a lot of lists run some XYZs, but I run a lot of tech synchros. I feel like that's where the deck shines, because I feel like synchros are some of the harder to access monsters, so they have some of the better effects. This one is also your recursion. If you need to break a board, you can go battle phase. You activate a quick play, you smack this into their monster, and then it pops it. So that's come up a couple times for me. It's also a level 4, which is really important for the XYZs. We're running Naturia Beast. This card is like, it's so crazy because you have those games where it just never comes up, and then you have that one game where it's just the best card in your deck. And you get to mill a bunch of cards, you go plus, and then I remember at a regional I used Runick Tip, hit a Sky Striker Ray, and I just knew the game plan from there.
Some cheese.
He didn't think it was cheese. We have Stardust Charge Warrior, Coral Dragon. So both of these kind of fit the same bill. They're both level 6s to ladder through with your Hugin and your level 4 tuner, which is Camellia. This one is for when you want to ladder climb with this, because this is a non-tuner, and the Camellia is a tuner, so you can ladder climb with this. Both of them draw a card. This one discards the pop. The attacking effect has never come up with this for me, but this one's discard pop. That comes up a lot. Not much else to say about these. This is also a water tuner, so keep that in mind for a little bit. We're running 2 level 8s. This is the best card in the deck. Don't let anyone fool you. We win a lot of games off this card.
Time card.
So this is a dark hole type option, but it's also a time card because it burns. And then Cyframe Lord Omega. This card is really good because not only because of the hand ripping effect, but it's also a good thing to what you can do is use the secret third effect for standby phase. You target one of your shufflers. Let's see, where are they? You target one of your shufflers when they're banished for cost. You can target it, put it back to the graveyard. You have a shuffler alive again. I'm not kidding you. I've probably looped this card about 5 times and just shuffled the whole deck back.
That's actually insane.
The hand rip is good too. For free knowledge. Doesn't come up that much because you kind of need it for defense. And then our 10 slot package. So these 2 are pretty standard. This one's a little crazy. I'll explain these 2 first. So Baron comes down on 5th summon, which is really good in this deck. You're not an overextension deck, but having that access to the negate on top of things that are situationally good makes it so you can hold on to this forever. The tag out effect for the Naturias is really good. This card is really good against grind decks. This is better against mid-range decks. This one also makes it so your Sunflower can't get run over pretty easily, and that matters way too much. So those are the easy ones to talk about. So this card recently came out in Photon Hypernova. It needs a water tuner, so we use our Coral Dragon for it. This card is like almost an auto win versus cash. It makes it so that your monsters can't be destroyed or banished. Oh my god, you know how many cash players I've tilted with this. It also has a recursion effect, but that doesn't come up too much because it just doesn't get outed. It's basically a towers versus cash. So yeah. Moving on to XYZs. So we have number 41 Baguska. This is the I got D-shifted game plan. Yeah. It's also really good against Despia. You can kind of just sit behind it for a couple turns and get some free draws. It's definitely MVP. You can also use Jerry to make it, which is really important. We have Exciton Knight. It didn't come up once for me today personally. I have a couple gripes with this card, but it's there for when you need it. I feel like Scarlight kind of does the same thing, but they're also different. Mm-hmm. And then Dugaris, this is like, when you brick, this is the guy. This guy fixes everything.
60 Doug.
I had a defense Dugaris against Walter in my last match, and he tried to attack over it with Gates of the Dark World. He didn't realize it was Fiend. That booty was enough. He got me to Scarlight, but yeah. And then finally for Lynx, we have Donner. This card gets rid of Nib token, gets rid of Nib. It comes out pretty often. I didn't think that I would need this, but it also clears the EMZ too, so. Yeah, that's about it for Monster, or for the extra deck. We can move on to the side deck now. So the reason we're playing 3 Ash on the side now, a lot of people are like, why wouldn't you main hand traps? Why are you playing all the board breakers? I feel like, I don't know, like if you go first, you just kind of auto win no matter what. So I really needed a side card for Despia, and I realized that this was it, obviously. Yeah. But I only really sided against, I guess, what is it, Lab?
I can say it's good against Lab too.
Lab going second. It helps against Erad because if they only have one welcome, you just throw this down and then they don't get away to the Erad. It's really important not getting Eraded in this deck because your spells are your only way to do anything. You know, sometimes you can kind of piggyback off the Naturia package, but it's just not enough when they start accruing an overwhelming advantage. I run 3 Gamma on the driver. This card is the best card in my side deck. This is the MVP, number 1, synchroing into Scarlight off of waiting for your standby for them to trigger Shangira, and then it protects itself, and then you Scarlight, and then it burns them for all the damage. It's just, yeah, if they Ibly you can use this. If they Shifter you can use this. If they bricked and they go Fenrir effect, you can use this. It's just, there's no time I don't want this in my hand. And you know what? It's an easy discard once you get a monster on board too. Yeah. We're playing Dark Rulers. This card was kind of whatever today. I didn't really side it. I was just kind of scrambling for a last card to put in. I was considering Droplet, but I just figured this might be an extra side against Cash if I really, really needed it. Not much to say about this one. I was playing 3 Twins today. Tired of losing to Anti-Spell. Tired of losing to Erad. This is just you see it and like you win. I played against a Lab player. I set this and had the Runick MST. He went set 4, end phase, Twin Twisters 2, MST 1, draw 3, hit the tip, hit another MST. It was unfair.
I had it broken.
Yeah, this is, you know, a lot of people don't like this card. And the reason why we're not running Cyclone is because of Lancia. Yeah. So, yeah. And then, you know, you don't really mind discarding in this deck. Sometimes it's beneficial, but yeah. And the last 2 of, there can be only one. This card is evil, folks. If you are not playing it, and you can, play it. If you play against Cash and they summon their first Psychic, the only thing they can Theosis for is a Rise Heart, and then after that, they're pretty much done. If you play it against Sword Soul, you hit their Moye, what do? If you do it against Lab, you only have to deal with 1 monster at a time. So, the only time it ever conflicts is with both the plants, but you can adjust your game plan accordingly to have the best floodgate right now.
Hell yeah.
And that's the deck profile.
Some changes you would want to make. I know you said Dark Rulers, and then what was the other one in the main? I'm pretty sure it's just Dark Rulers.
It's just Dark Rulers. You know, if you could play anything other than Kaijus, you can't play Lava Golem Sphere mode because you need the normal summon, but I don't know. These I might be considering Lancia. I like Droplet as well, but obviously not against Cash. But I think I have enough Cash hate that I could probably get away with it. So, yeah.
Well, that's the deck profile, guys. Thank you, Sid. Congratulations on the win today. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace.